Hey everybody, this is Mr. Wayne from Wayne's World here in Central Texas. Just want to thank all of you boat mechanics out there for publishing all of these great YouTube videos about how to change a water pump in a 140 Evinrude motor. I followed most of those when I changed my pump a few months ago, and the motor kept overheating at high temperatures, and I knew I must have done something wrong. So I went back and viewed all the videos again and took the motor apart, have everything here already done. I've redone the pump just like they've said, and a few other things. First of all, let me make sure you do everything the way I do it. First of all, right now it's 110 degrees outside, and my shop here is not air conditioned. So make sure you have a margarita handy as you do this. Now when I put my pump in, as I saw in several of your videos, there were always extra parts, and mostly they were O-rings. And I figured I had to have left an O-ring out somewhere, and sure enough I did. But I still put them where they're supposed to be this time, and I have 3 left over. So I'm looking this over, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put these other 3. First of all, that's a big one, and it just doesn't fit anything on here. So I'm going to throw that away. And I look at this big thicky one, and there was no place for that to go. But I'm looking here now, and looking, and it looks like it fits really good there. So I'm going to, and this may be wrong, but I'm putting it right down on top of the pump there. Now, one of the things not one single video shows is where to put this little ring. Now there's another one just like it, but it goes down on the very base of the water pump, and that one's there. This is another one. And I look up here next to where the shaft connects up at the top, and I see there's a little place there. And maybe that little O-ring goes there. Now if I'm wrong, please somebody respond to this video and tell me I'm wrong, but I'm going to put this together that way. Now something about old motors like mine, this is a 1979 140 Evinrude. I kind of like the old things like that because they're easier to fix than some of the newer ones. Now mine, when I first took it apart, was missing this part right here, which I call the lower exhaust shoe. Now, because it looks like a shoe. Now I went and found me one on eBay, and I put it on here. I just set it in and put it on, and I tried to put this all together, and that kept falling off, and I can't tell you how many times I had to reposition everything to get that thing to stay on. So this time I have cemented that thing in place. It's not going anywhere this next time I do this. Now, one of the biggest things that none of your videos show is what do you do to match this tube on here with the tube that's in the upper housing. Because when you get this thing put up to where these two start to match up, you can't see in there to see if that's going to go inside there. And what I think I did was when I put that in there, that tube went to one side. So when I cranked this thing up, it overheated almost instantly, and there was no water coming out of the upper side. That was because of that. Not one video shows you how to get that in place and to match up. So I'm hoping I'm going to show you a way to make sure that matches up. And when you use seal, that's another thing. Everybody kind of says aviation glue, aviation sealant, this, that. I use this. It's just called gasket sealant. It dries really fast, and really it stays spongy, but boy, it holds gaskets in place really fast, and you're not sitting waiting all day for that. So those are my quick tips. Now I'm going to put this back together for you. Now here's that pesky little tube I was telling you about. it is so high up in there that by the time you get this thing lined up, you can't see that that's matching up. And just to show you, this thing flops all around. So you can't take for granted it's going to be where you want it to be when you get it up there. Now let's try to do that. Now I got this great idea from one of you on one of your videos, and this is how I do it. First of all, I make sure everything's ready there, and then we start to go in. We line everything up, and what you gotta watch out is this little booger here wants to turn on you every time. So you want to get that thing straight, get it started first. Up we go, get everything best you can in there. Get the straps ready. Get that bugger locked on there and start ratcheting it up. And just get it to hold for right now. This gives you a chance to make sure everything is lining like you want it to. Alright, with a light now, we look up in there, we see how close it's matching. I'm seeing that the pipe and the pump are very close, but this is where I come into problems. Usually right about now, you might have noticed a while ago when I put this up, the shoe wants to pop off. No matter how good I sealed it, it still wants to come off. But at this particular point, I'm ready to bring this thing on up. And the shoe is starting to get binded, and it's wanting to come off and make a big problem. It's already doing it. But so far, I'm getting it. I'm watching the alignment still, and I can see in there now. And I'm going to take the camera and show you this. If you can see here, if I can get this thing where you can see, you can tell that well, it's just hard to get a place where you can see, but if you can see it, the pipe is not aligning with that pump right there. At this point, I'm going to try with my finger to push that in place, but it's kind of hard because now it's bound and I have no finger room, so now I have to get a screwdriver and try. So now I've got a screwdriver, and I'm going to see if I can line that pipe up with that. And I have. And we go back over here, and you notice the shoe is trying to come off as it does. So at this point, I know the pipe is going into the pump. So I'm going to try to hold that in a normal place and see if I can take it on up now some. I have to keep watching that shoe, that it stays in place, or we can have another mess on our hands. And even though it's out of socket, it seems to be moving into place. Turn it this way a little so you can see better. Shoe is not 100% right yet, but it still seems to be going in. The pipe is definitely in right. So at this point, I'm looking at the shoe. It seems to be lined up. But anyway, from this point on, I think I've made my point. As most of your videos have shown, this is always a piece of cake at this point. But this, to me, is the real work of getting this right. And all of your videos are very short on this. This is a lot of work. And if this isn't done right, you're going to be taking it apart over and over and again. So anyway, good boating, everybody. I got to go find the air conditioning after I drink this margarita. Bye.